I know a lot of you have tasted kind of through our 10-year-old, our 12-year-old. Obviously, I've said it before, one of my favorite projects that we've done in the last few years is recreating our age-stated whiskeys. You saw maybe on the wall in there in the visitor center, there was a 10 and an 18-year-old bottle in there. Miss Marcia Hale, who works in the main office with me, she has a 14-year-old bottle, original from the early 1900s, that she's going to bring in for us to look at this afternoon as well. So this is just the natural progression in recreating the age-stated whiskeys that Mr. Jack himself did. So, you know, of all the things that we've done, you know, Coy Hill 150-something proofs and triple mash, you know, 3 different bottle and bond whiskeys in one bottle, all that stuff that's you know, kind of new to world. To be able to recreate a product for the first time since Jack Daniel was alive, running around this place before this house was even built, right? This house was built back in 38, I guess, right, Nelson? Right. So that's a really, really cool thing. And to me, you know, that's what I love to emphasize with the 10-year-old, the 12-year-old, now the 14. This is our history. We're recreating this, hopefully, in a way that Mr. Jack would approve. Obviously, if it was good enough for him to do 14-year-old whiskey back in his day, it's good enough for us to do 14-year-old whiskey here. But we started down this path years and years and years ago. The barrels that we've kind of started with, we had them on upper floors at first, which is where we pull single barrel stocks from. When we decided to go down this path of holding whiskey in hopes of one day recreating these age-stated products, we started moving these barrels. Because on that top floor, you know, you might be able to twist my arm and say, okay, 10 years on the top floor, but that's probably about all you got up there. Number one, you're going to lose so much to evaporation. And then secondly, you do run the risk of kind of over oaking it. And so we went in, and every year we would move, maybe it was 1,000, then 2,000, however many barrels down. And so we've moved these barrels from the top floor all the way down to a very bottom floor on track 2 near our bottling hall. So Clint and Chris Ray, I think Chris Ray, went and got this barrel for us on Friday and moved it up here, right? Yes, so very much we owe this drink to Clint, and he does have a heavy hand in the batching and the filtration and everything of all of our age-stated stuff. So he's a key guy to know here when it comes to this. But this barrel has not been touched in 14 and a half now. This is a September 2010. Nobody, I would say, outside of a couple of us, no one has tasted 14-year-old whiskey at Jack Daniel's in over 100 years until right now. So that's pretty fun too, right? So I think it's fun. I hope y'all think it's fun. Looks like we've already got a pretty good crack on that stave, man. Man, I don't love it. But we'll definitely pull the bung out. And then we'll dig in. Now we will go and taste. So this barrel right here will go back. We have already bottled. We've batched and bottled what went into the bottle. This barrel just had, to be honest, it had a little bit more whiskey left in it than we thought it would have. And so we're actually going to hold it for a future release. So this will be, you know, it could go into the mix for next year's 14, or it could get held potentially for an 18-year-old at some point down the road. You know, one of the things that I would love to do is recreate every single age-stated whiskey that Jack did. I don't know that many people know that Jack Daniel's has this really long history of age-stated American whiskey. I mean, before most of the brands out there that are now selling whatever-year-old whiskey were even invented, Jack was selling 21-year-old Tennessee whiskey down here in Lynchburg in the early 1900s. So that's pretty cool and really, really special. So I hope we all enjoyed. Does anybody want to help pull the bung?
So this is a 14-year, and we're getting it straight out of the barrel?
Straight out of the barrel. This is where we're going to start. Probably should have used 2 hands. Greeze, what do you think? Yeah.
That's great.
Looks cooler one handed. I almost missed the bung though. So we'll set aside a certain amount of barrels every year that we'll hold it back for what we call age-stated whiskeys. And so we can obviously blend down. You can't blend up, So, we might have a 15-year-old barrel that could go into a 14-year-old batch, but you can't flip that, because of the regulations. So it's not set in stone. We're going to go in and sample. We sampled these. When did you guys do it? Back in the fall.
Yeah.
October, September.
Yeah,
October?
late October-ish.
Yeah, October, something like that. So we go in and we're looking at a couple things. Obviously, we're going to sample them. We're going to do the proof on them. We'll look at the color, and obviously, we're going to taste them, and then kind of go through. And if we want to if we feel like we have to say, each singular barrel at a time, we will. We've gotten really close to that. Usually, these batches are about 200 barrels-ish each. That sounds like a whole lot, but you got to remember there's not much whiskey in that barrel. So we're only going to get, we didn't even get 3,000 cases of this. Mm-hmm. No, so about 2,200.
22, 23, right in that neighborhood.
Yeah, 9-liter cases. Yeah. So 6-packs would be double of that. So 4,400 6-pack cases-ish. I'm going to, we batched it out at 126, so I'm going to say that's probably in that ballpark. That's where we ended up with the batch that got into the bottle. And so, ladies first.
Sure, thank you.